Hey guys, welcome in here to WagerTalk TV. Hockey is back. That means Carmine and I are back here on Puck Time to break down some NHL futures. We've done 3 videos so far, Central, Metro, and the Atlantic. It is now time to dive into the Pacific Division. If you enjoyed this video and all of our content at WagerTalk, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and comment to let us know what you are thinking. Carmine, let's dive right into it with a Pacific Division season point total, under or over. What do you have for us?
Yeah, listen, we talked on a previous video when looking at the Central about the Calgary Flames, and that's who I'm going to talk about here. The Calgary Flames just had last season was just an epic failure. This is a team that has plenty of talent. A bad year for Markstrom in goal, but I feel like they're going to have a much better year this year. And their total currently sits at 95.5. I'm very high on this Calgary team as far as the points go, and they've got the perfect logo for it. It's got the little bit of a flame. If you want to light one up, Andrew, but the Calgary Flames over the team total 95.5 minus 115. All of these, of course, come with like minus 115 vig either way. So 30-cent juice line, unfortunately, but it's what we're taking.
Ever since Calgary fired their coach, they looked a lot better, and I'm with you. I feel like it will be a pretty good one there for them. I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. I'm going to fade the defending Stanley Cup champions and go under on the Vegas Golden Knights, under 103.5 points there. Like you mentioned, Carm, minus 115 is usually the price tag on these plays. But people don't remember the fact that I'm not saying that it's just because of salary cap stuff that Vegas won, but they were I'm saying a little bit over the salary cap. You can't do that. They lost several players to free agency. Some really good players had to go out and get paid. So they left the Vegas Golden Knights, and they are a little bit weaker this year, I think, than they were last year. So I'll take the under on the Vegas Golden Knights, under 103.5 points. What do you have for us as far as make or miss the playoffs?
Make or miss the playoffs. This one's easy. I've been some of these videos pun intended, play on words, and it's the Blues, man. It's going to be a bad season for the Blues. I feel it's a rebuild coming. And again, when I look at teams to miss the playoffs, Andrew, I'm looking at the conference as a whole, and I could easily pick 6 teams I know are going to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. I'm not going to go through them all, of course. And then at least a couple more that have a very good chance of making it. And St. Louis doesn't fall in that category. I think they're in for a bad season. And again, much like that Nashville one where the price was minus 200, the price is minus 200 for the Blues to miss the playoffs, and rightfully so. And it probably should be a little higher. Maybe not as high as the Nashville one is, but still high enough that at minus 200, I'm going to take it.
You got to love those prices sometimes, and it doesn't matter if it's always the biggest plus price. Sometimes there's just ones that stick out to you right away. Carm, for me, that price was the Kraken to miss the playoffs at plus 120. I take a look at this team, and I just don't really buy into the hype I'm seeing from everybody else. They completed a big upset. They upset the Colorado Avalanche, and you spoke about how they're going to be a good team this year. They're not going anywhere. Good for Seattle. It was a great upset, but I'm not really buying into the whole expansion team going to win a cup and do so well as fast as the Vegas Golden Knights did. I think it's going to be a lot more of a building process for the Seattle Kraken to get to that point. Hats off to them for squeaking in. Hats off to them for getting that big upset in round 1 last year. But I'm not buying it. That division got better. I feel like they didn't get too much better themselves, and I'm worried about their depth offensively. They're a good defensive team, but when it comes down to it, I do not think they stack up with the rest of the teams. I will take the under for them and take them not to make the playoffs as well. What do you have for us for season-long player props?
This is another one I like, and anytime you take a goal scoring prop and it's a high number, you're like, because you always have to worry about a player missing games and a player missing injuries. But you look at the Edmonton Oilers, and it's a team that we talked about or we're going to talk about that, once again, for the third straight year, I'm high on this team, and hopefully they'll do a lot better this year. But Leon Draisaitl, his total for goals scored this year is 50 and a half. You know he's going to get his power play goals. You know he's going to get his regular strength goals. 3 of the last 5 years, Draisaitl has scored 50 or more goals. The seasons that he did not score were the 2019-2020 season. He missed 11 games. He was at 43 goals in that one. And then in the 2021 season, he missed 26 games in that one. I believe he was at 36 goals that season. So the guy was on pace, but injuries sort of sidetracked those 2 seasons for him. So if he can stay healthy, play his 80 games like he did the last couple seasons where he went over the 50 goal mark, I say he does it for a third consecutive year. So over 50 and a half goals scored by Leon Draisaitl. And that is, yes, you guessed it, minus 115.
Carm, there's a reason why some of those numbers are as high as they are. It's because he's a maniac. He's a superstar. He's certainly capable of going up and over that number. He's a great player to watch. And I always say he maybe doesn't even get enough attention because he plays with McDavid. And he gets a lot of attention, but I'm really curious what we would say about him if he played for a different team. But either way, he's a superstar, and I like that player prop as well. For me, I'm going to go with the over 98.5 points for Elias or Elias, however you pronounce it, Pettersson for the Vancouver Canucks. I believe the Canucks will be a lot better this year. They've gone through some crazy issues the past few years with going through a lot of different coaches and leaders and older players in the team signing with other teams. Pettersson is one of the most underrated stars in the National Hockey League. The ice time he gets is there. The power play minutes is there. And he seems to get better every single year. He's a great goal scorer, but I believe he will learn to start passing the puck and being a better playmaker. I'll take his player points prop over on the season. Vancouver should be improved, and if that's the case, he will have a great season. All right, Carm, this is the time where we look at a future as a whole from this division. What are you liking, and what do you have for us?
Yeah, Andrew, listen, it's been 30 years since the Stanley Cup made its way north of the border or was won by a team north of the border. You were just a glimmer, I think, in your dad's eye at the time, Andrew. But I'm taking the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers, as far as the best odds, I think, in the Pacific, the Oilers are a 10-1 to win the Cup. And these plays, again, for these 4 divisions, I'm just giving you the value play as I see it in each division to make the Cup. I think the Oilers are going to win the Pacific Division. I think the Oilers have a very good chance of winning the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. And if that happens, and again, they get to the Western Conference Finals, I'm holding a 10-1 ticket on a team. Obviously, in a perfect world, and there isn't a perfect world, it would be Colorado and Edmonton in the Western Conference Finals, and I'm holding a 10-1 ticket on both of them, and knowing one of them is going on to win the or at least play in the Cup. So give me the Edmonton Oilers 10-1 as the value play out of the Pacific Division.
I would love to see the Stanley Cup come back to Canada, even though all summer long, the Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup champions brought it back to Canada as well, as that team was all Canadians. We need a Canadian team to win. But if the Oilers do not win the Stanley Cup and go to the finals, I sure hope the LA Kings are in the Stanley Cup finals. They have one of the deepest center cores in the entire league. Phil Deneau, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Anze Kopitar. Those are their top 3 centers on their team. You throw in some crazy other good players like Kempe, Fiala, Quinton Byfield. This is a team that you do not want to mess with. All their players are not just talented offensively, but they are talented defensively. A good goaltender is well behind them, a great coach. I feel like it's time for them to take that next step and the LA Kings to have a really, really big year. At 22-1, I'll take the LA Kings to win the Stanley Cup. So, Carm, Oilers or Kings for me. I'll be really happy to take that. Guys, don't forget, Carm and I have a great special going right now. Buy one, get one. 30 days of our NHL plays. We both do sides. We both do totals. We both do props. And for all access, guys, for the full year, you're going to get all of our future wagers, props, season wins, futures, everything, pretty much Stanley Cup, divisions. You'll get all of it from us over at WagerTalk.com. So if you enjoyed these videos from us, please hit the like button, comment below, and thank you so much for taking time to watch these. On behalf of Carmine, I'm Andrew. We'll see you next time.